Good morning. This is the math lesson for Thursday, May 14th, and we are going to continue working on our graph practicing. The materials that you'll need for today's lesson are a pencil and your graph practice worksheet. We are only going to do the top part right up there. All right, so we're only going to do the top portion of the worksheet today. Make sure that you have your materials, and then we'll go ahead and continue. Okay, so if you're here, then that means that you've got your graph practice worksheet and you are ready to go. All right, I know that mine looks a little bit different. Remember I said that we were working only on the top half, so I've just taken the top half of the worksheet and made it bigger so that it's a little bit easier to see. All right, so here we have on the top it says graph practice. Okay, and what we have here is the categorizing and the sorting has already all been done for us. Okay, and we just need to read some information from this graph and provide it down here in the bottoms. Question numbers 1 through 5 are what we need to answer. But let's take a look at the graph at the top so we can see what this graph is about. All right. Over to the left, there's a big blue box, and I know that it's written sideways, but that right there says favorite subject. Okay, so this graph is a graph that tells what kids' favorite subject is. Okay, so now they asked different students what their favorite subject was, and the subjects that they asked, if you look right here, the top one in red is science, right? That's the red one. The green one below it is, with an M, math, okay? And then we have in yellow, we have music. The next one in blue is art. And the last one on the bottom, kind of a dark red brownish color, is English. Okay, and that's like our reading class. Okay, so let's look up at the top at the first one that says science. And actually, I'm sorry, let's go backwards. Let's look at the bottom. Okay, in the bottom, we have an area down here that says number of students. And there's numbers that go across the bottom. 1 all the way down to 10. Okay, so if you look, each number is even with one box, right? So that means this box right here is for one student. This box means 2 students like that subject. If it's colored all the way up to 3 boxes, that means 3 students like the subject, and so on, all the way up to 4, 5. Okay, so let me erase that. I want it to be a little bit neater here, so let's try this. All right, so now let's take a look here. We're going to start off with science at the top, all right, just so we have a better idea of what this graph is showing us. Let's take a look at science at the top, okay? And science has, let's look at all the boxes that are colored. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 boxes colored, right? But if you go all the way to the end down here and see where it's colored too, that the coloring of the boxes stops. Look down at the end and see what number it stops on. It stops on 9. That's exactly how many boxes there are. If you look at math, it's the same thing. 1, 2, 3 boxes are colored. Go straight down. 3 students like math. How about music? Take a look at music. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And if you go down, yep, all the way till 8. So see, you don't even have to count. You can say art. How many students like art? Well, that line goes all the way to right here. So 6 students. How about English? English, how many people like English class? How many is that their favorite subject? Right there, 4. All right, so now I'm going to clean my paper up and let's take this information and answer some questions about what is their least favorite and their most favorite, and answer some other questions, okay? So let's go ahead and erase this. Now it's all clean and we are ready to go. All right, so let's take a look at question number 1, not sentence number 1. Question number 1, and it says, what subject do the students like the most? The most. Okay, so the most is going to be like the biggest, right? The most, the biggest. So that would mean that our line, okay, would go the longest. The most would mean the biggest number, okay? So take a look there and tell me which one do you think the students like the most? Take a look at your numbers on the bottom. Take a look at your colored lines there, and which one goes the most? Which one goes the farthest? Which one is the longest? Did you say science? Okay, I hope you did, because that's it. If you see science goes all the way down to 9, okay, there's no other subjects that go all the way to 9. So the subjects that students liked the most would be science. So for number 1, our answer would be science. Science. Okay, because 9 people like science. Did 10 people like anything? No. 9 was the most people that liked anything. All right, let me switch colors and let's find another one. All right, so here we are. Let's go with math. Okay, so math. Whoops, I'm sorry. Back up. Back up. I didn't mean to go with math. It says, what subject do students like the least? The least. Okay, which one do they like the least? So the least means the smallest, right? So which one of those lines, which one of those numbered lines, or those blocks is the smallest, the least? Okay, I hope you said math. I kind of gave that away. Sorry about that. But yes, you're right. Math only goes up to the number 3, right? That one's the smallest. That one is the least. So the subject that students like the least would be math. So you should write math for your second choice. All right, let's go on to number 3. Okay, I've erased those highlighters and I've written the words out there with the best that I can with my mouse, so it makes it a little bit easier for you guys. All right, let's go ahead and move to number 3. I'm going to use, whoops, highlighter. All right, what does number 3 say? Number 3 says, what subject is the student's second choice? Okay, so we said that their first favorite choice was science, right? Because that's the one that came the furthest, right? It came all the way down to 9. So what about the next highest number? What is the next highest number there? Which is the class, or the subject, I should say, that comes the longest, but that's not science because we've already counted that one. What subject? Let's see. Is it math? No, that's the least. Could it be music? Well, music comes all the way up to number 8, right? Music comes to 8. Art is way down at 6, and English, yeah, it would be music. So we're going to write music in for second choice. All right, there's the word music for you. And now let's move on to number 4. And number 4, let's see what number 4 says. Number 4 says, whoops, highlighter. Number 4 says, how many students like art? Number 4, how many students like art? Well, that's easy peasy, right? So we come up to art, which is right here, and you count. Count your boxes. See how far your boxes go. Come down. How many boxes did you count? How far? Look at the number of students down on the bottom. How far does that box go down to? How many students like art? Look down there. Write your answer on the line at the bottom. Just after the question, how many students like art? All right, let me get another color and we're going to move on to number 5. And number 5 says, how many students like English? How many students like English? All right, well now let's come back up here to English. And you can do that one of 2 ways. Either you can count how many boxes, or you can follow that line all the way down and look at the number below it and see what number you land on. That's how many students like English. Go ahead and write your answer right at the end of the question. Right, once you finish with that, press pause if you need to go ahead and hold this page so you can finish writing your answers. All right, once you finish with this, that's all your math for today. Make sure that you've done your social studies and your reading. If you have, then that's all. Have a great afternoon, and I will see you tomorrow for Fantastic Friday.